Okay, before I even get started, can you guys tell me how my sound is? Because it looks really weird. Okay, no wonder. Never mind. Sorry about that. I hope it's better. Okay. All right. Hey, just waiting. I gotta mute and send my notification out to one more place. I just didn't. I don't want to pound your guys' ear. Sorry. Okay, so nothing, Anita. I'm just trying to get my note. I don't. A lot of people are saying they're not getting my notifications, so I've been trying to let people know when I'm live. Okay, so hey, Anita, Don, Kimmy, Raquel, Kelly, C, Sweetweed, hey, BTS, CK, Alex, Bernie, UC Boss. Okay, so I know there's a lot going on YouTube. I was so close to canceling this, but I know some people are looking forward to it, so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it, and I'll leave it up. No big deal. So you got one. Okay, good. Some people are getting them. Some people are not. Hey, Aussie Flag. Yay. Okay, so you guys are getting them. Hey, teacher mom, hairstylist. Um, I do want to put a kind of a trigger warning out because there are talks of she had a very violent life. There's she was sexually assaulted a few times. She was beaten a few times. I don't want anybody to get triggered. This is a very bad case. So I just rather you let you guys know ahead of time. Hey, Polyester. Hey, Herbie. Hey, Dee Dee. I want to let you guys know ahead of time if those things trigger you, or you think it might with this one. Just please don't watch. I don't want to upset anybody. So we're gonna talk about Aileen Wuornos today. She has, God, she is probably had the most stuff about her life. She had the movie Overkill, the movie Monster, an A&E special, The Life and Death of a Serial Killer, and The Selling of a Serial Killer. So I'm glad you're here, Aussie Flag. Oh my God, Romad, I know. Yes, she had a very sad life. Hey, Sabrina, I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to get in. I think a few more people wanted to listen in before I start. But she did. She had a very sad life. I don't make excuses for people that do fucked up shit, but if anybody would do fucked up shit, it would be one of those situations I could see where how it happened. You can almost watch this one play out. If you watch stuff about her, it's one of those things where you can see it's gonna go wrong, right? I mean, I'm talking from the time that she was born. Literally, this poor woman had the most horrendous life I think I've um ever heard of, personally. I'm sure there's more people, right, that have had just as bad of lives, but she never got a break, ever. I'm talking seriously from the time that she was born until the end of her life. She never had one break. So I I don't even know where. Okay, I guess we'll just start from the beginning with her. You guys didn't ask me questions. If you most of you guys probably heard about her, but she was born in 1959, and her mom had already had one kid, but her mom eloped with the guy when she was 14 to get away from her abusive father, right? And so then the father got sent to prison. So the mom, the father was abusive. Her father was abusive to her mom. She never met her father because when her mom was pregnant, she ran off to get away from him. So she went back to live with her parents, and when Aileen was born, she dumped Keith and Aileen off with her parents, who were abusive to her, to the mom. Um, also, but she dumped him off, and her dad, he was in the army, then he went to prison. He got out, and like 10 years later, he was got convicted of like molesting kids, okay? Molesting and sexually assaulting kids. Yes, it's just a sad life all the way. But she lived with her grandparents, and from every single person's point of view, like the mom's younger siblings that were raised with Aileen and Keith even said, like, we got beat and stuff, but nothing like Aileen and Keith got, and nothing like Aileen got. Like, they just didn't like her. They did not love her from the very beginning. She just wanted love. Like, she, like one time they were late from school, and somebody that lived across the way just remembered, look, like you could see in the window, and they said that she was just getting the fuck beat out of her, like with a belt, for being late from school. So when she was like, pretty rebellious, and her and her brother did have, they were there. It's been confirmed that they had incest relations, and the man across the street was sexually abusing her. This is just also sad. God. So the man across the street was sexually abusing her. He was like a pedophile, a neighborhood pedophile. And that's who she said was the father of her kid that she ended up having when she was like 14. Because she had been sent to like a bunch of reform schools with her brother, but she would always come back. And she ended up pregnant right out of one of these reform schools. But later on in life, she said that he was the father. He was like the neighborhood pedophile. Everybody knew what was going on. Nobody reported shit back then, right? It was like the 60s and 70s. No, she never had a chance of normal life ever. So, they sent her to a school. They did not, a school for unwed mothers. That was a thing back then. I don't even know if they still have them. But they didn't even like give her a chance to say goodbye, because she said, like, I didn't want the child. It was a little boy. She said, I didn't want the child. I just wanted to be given the option to tell my child goodbye, right? Like, yeah, she was doing, yeah, it gets really bad too after that. There was a little place they all hung out called the Pits. They would all go. She would like sell herself for a few cigarettes, or nobody liked her. And she felt like that made people like her, So, hey, Kimberly. But after she had the baby, it got really bad. She was like, selling herself, and the grandma died. Well, the grandpa kicked her and Keith out and said, I don't want nothing to do with you. So she was turning, really started turning tricks, and that was her source of income, her source of, how she felt good about herself, all of it. So Keith had people in the neighborhood that would look out for him, but none of these parents like let her stay with them. I just can't imagine. Like, CPS really wasn't a thing back then like it is now, but all these parents just let her like live outside in Michigan in the wintertime. They made her like a fort, okay, and it had like old plywood, nasty wood and stuff covering, a little area, and her and this gay guy were staying there together. They were homeless or whatever, but she ended up like going to Florida. She was like, it couldn't handle it. Who could? Hey, Monique. Hey, Sabrina. Hey, April. Who could handle that, right? I mean, even adults couldn't handle that, but she was a kid. I think she was like 15. And Keith was like allowed to stay in everybody's house, but for some reason, I guess maybe back then it was the girl had a bad reputation, right? Like, oh, she sells herself, so she must be bad, kind of thing. And so she ended up hitchhiking all the way to Florida, and by the time, when she got there, it was like nothing had changed really right away. She was there for a few months, and she found out that her brother, who she loved dearly, he died of lung cancer, and he left her a little bit of money. It kind of helped her, and this is a small policy, but she met a really rich guy, like an older, I think he was like in his 70s. She met this older guy, and they were married, but only for 9 weeks, because she ended up beating him with a cane. So that didn't last. And she was back to, selling tricks. And if you watch some of her stuff, like that's the life that she not enjoyed, but it's the only thing she ever knew. She didn't know how to do other stuff, right? So she ended up going to prison for 3 years eventually for after the marriage was annulled because she was mean to the old guy. And it's so weird because she ended up with a woman later, but everybody that was in jail with her said that she would just bitch the whole time, like that she was in jail with lesbians. And you gotta think this was a different time. It was the 80s. It wasn't accepted yet. Okay, so yeah, she had a really rough life. She would just read her Bible. She wanted to stay in isolation, and she would complain that she was in jail with all the lesbians. Romat, I hope you're doing okay, honey. So I'm sorry. Hold on, I'm reading this. Well, okay, wait. I need to back up a little bit. Right before she went to prison, or right after, I can't remember exactly. She had tried to shoot herself in the abdomen, like to kill herself. They didn't even give her like mental health care or anything. And in prison, they didn't give her any mental health care. Not that you get great care now, but nothing. Even though she told all these people, I'm suicidal, I have these rages. As a kid, she would have these huge outbursts where she would actually hurt people and freak out, break stuff. Nobody ever looked out for this girl, ever. Hey, Margie. Hey, Sarah. So nobody had ever looked out for her. Nobody had ever just said, how can I help you? What can I do? And I think that, she had finally said, like, I'm done dating. I'm done with, like, she was ready to end her life again. And she had said, like, God, give me like a sign. I need to be alive. And she was hanging out in these biker bars or whatever. And she had met Tyra, who will be very, very important. Tyra Moore. She met her in like 1985 or 86. Right. It was pretty soon after her release. I think her release was in like 83. But she met her, and right away she just knew there was a connection. Even though she was like so against lesbians, she just knew that this was like hey, live and learn. She knew that this was like her one, okay? According to her. And they lived like this crazy life together. It wasn't like some romantic fairy tale, but to her it was, because for the first time in her life she had somebody that loved her, that she felt like wanted to be with her. Hey, Batty. And you gotta think, like, up until this point she hadn't had one person besides Keith who still, there was like a lot of inappropriate things with their relationship, but nobody ever just accepted her. Like Tyra said, she would flip out when they were eating out or in the stores or whatever, and it wasn't ever, it was always okay. Like, she still stayed with her, I know her life is horrendous. Does anybody have any questions up to this point? I don't know. I know I'm going fast. There's so much. You could do 10 lives on this. I'm not kidding. Hey, Pearls of Wisdom. Like, they lived in the woods sometimes together, or in, these trailers that were like half trailers in Florida with like no space. But to her, it was like heaven. I mean, she really thought that this was like heaven. They lived in like roach motels, really nasty motels that Tyra would get cleaning jobs at because they could rent free because Tyra was the maid or whatever, and she thought that this was like the perfect life. I mean, she really thought she found her one. It makes it like that much sadder what ends up happening. I just want to make sure, like, I'm not going too fast, or if I miss something that, I mean, I don't really have, I'm doing most of this off of memory, but just because I know so much about this case. This is my favorite case. But she did have mental illness. She had, oh my God, she when she died, she said before she died, like, I don't want to jump too much ahead, but she had like said that she thought that the prison was putting like solar like solar beams to her head or whatever, to like read what she was saying and to poison her brain. She was definitely mentally ill, but it wasn't like, I don't even know how they executed her, how sick she was, but it was a different time. It's not like it was now. Yes, she did. I didn't know she actually had diagnosis. I just knew. Or wait, yeah, she had borderline personality, I think. Either way, I don't know how they executed her because she like had these paranoid delusions. Some of them weren't delusions. Like the cops really did absolutely try to sell her story and shit. But she said they had solar beams to her head, and her head hurt. She wouldn't eat her food because she thought they were poisoning her. Like that is actually like, tall tale signs of mental illness. I don't even know how they would execute somebody that was this sick. I don't. Yeah, she was very abused from the time that she was a young girl. There was no question about that. So okay. In the fall, like I think it was like the fall of the summertime of '89, stuff started getting really rough for her and her girlfriend, Ty. And they didn't know how they were gonna make it. Like they were going from like woods to woods to, motels. They had no idea how they were gonna make it. And so like almost going into the winter time, she had met a guy that she was, a John. And his name was Richard Mallory, and he did have previous sex offenses. I absolutely believe her that he did sexually assault her, 100%. It was too detailed, and if you watch the documentaries with her talking, she said yes, he did sexually assault her. She just didn't want to fight anymore. She wanted to die. But anyway, she came home with a car and a load of cash, and Tyra, she told Ty, I killed this guy. I have his shit, and I don't understand how Ty got off of all of that. Really, I don't, but she did. Yeah, well, her and Keith had an incest relationship. It's rumored that her grandfather sexually abused her, but that was never, that I could find, it was never like confirmed. And then the neighborhood pedophile guy had sexually assaulted her. So, I believe that he did. I don't believe that all of them did. I believe that it set something off in her because it was a very violent assault. He put bleach in her wounds and stuff. Like, it was bad. I won't even go into graphic detail about what she had said that he did, but she never changed her story until, like, she didn't want to fight. She wanted to be executed. So she ended up killing 7 guys, but she would take these, she took like, she killed, I'm sorry, looking at this. She, after 6 months, she killed 3 more people, but there was like 4 counties. And then there was 3 more people after that. It was like in little, it was 1, then 3, because there was a total of 7. But it was over different counties. You got to think, they didn't have the databases like they have now. I think whatever Richard did to her really fucked her up, though. That's just, like, she's always been a prostitute, never had a problem. And all of a sudden, this guy attacked her the way that he did, and something in her snapped. I think that was her done point. And I almost can't believe that he didn't assault her. He had he had been in prison before for sexual assault. So I definitely, hey CK, hey Remy, you can't pay me to believe that he did not actually sexually assault her. And when I'm done with this, I will link my whole playlist. And if you go to The Life and Death of a Serial Killer, Nick Broomfield asks her, like he whispers, she doesn't think the cameras are on, did Richard sexually assault you? Because she had said it didn't happen. And she whispers back like, yes, I just don't want to fight this anymore. Don't tell anybody. Please don't tell anybody. So anyways, I do believe that he did. And she never really, only time she veered from that was when she didn't want to fight for her life. So her and Tyra had ended up getting in like a wreck with a car that she got from her last victim. So these people got to go look at them, right? She was freaking the fuck out. She had them move all their shit that day. She was like, nope, I'm done. Like, we're moving. And they had been moved, but it only went on one news station because they were scared to put, like, they were scared if they put that out that they would get away, right? They didn't really, the cops really didn't act on it or anything. So they were on the run for a while. And then she went to go, like, pawn some of the stuff that she had stolen. And one of her aliases came back in the thumbprint match. And that's how they actually got caught. Or, well, she got caught. But Tyra was already back in Pennsylvania with her family by then. I'm watching a movie again tonight after bed. Do you think? It did. It was hot. There was definitely some Hollywood parts, but I can when I'm down here, I can link there's two documentaries that she tells her own story. You know what I mean? Munster did a pretty good job. It did have some, like, parts that didn't match what she said, or what Ty said, but it was a really good movie. It was, like, pretty close. But yeah, I'll link that for you guys. And some people don't like documentaries, but it was actually her words, you know. That's why I like those. Yeah, I like the docs. I did think that Munster did a good job, and there was also one called Overkill, but it was like more of a Lifetime movie. I have all of those saved because she really is my favorite serial killer, like, out of everything. Okay, so when they found Aileen, though, they were like, they knew there was somebody else, so they started looking for Tyra, and somehow or another they found her, and she, like, started lying to Aileen on the phone, basically, and telling her, like, they're harassing my family, the cops have been here, like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And so Aileen ended up going in and doing, like, a 3.5-hour confession. She didn't want Ty to get in trouble for it. She ended up going in, doing a full confession, no lawyer, matter of fact, just cold stone, I did it, this is what I did, telling on herself. Sorry, I'm trying to read this. I've never seen Munster. Yeah, it's pretty good. Munster is really good. Now, the only reason the documentaries are better is because, of course, you know, it tells the story out of her own, you know, words. Okay, sorry. But she did fight the Richard case. Like, she did try to fight it at first, but when they did overkill with that whole thing. Speaking of overkill, they did overkill. Like, it was like they wanted to try her in all these different places after she already had one death sentence. She didn't need all these extra death sentences, but because it was over different counties. But she told the jury, like, I hope your wife and kids get raped, because that's what happened to her. Like, she had this big outburst after court. And after that, I think she kind of gave up. And she also had this really weird people, I think, like, her name was Aileen Prowse. Like, she was really weird. She adopted Aileen, like, and used her for her fame. Got a whole bunch of money off the documentaries, and the first documentary, I mean, and news stories, and sold her paintings and shit. And then it told her, like, yeah, you should just plead guilty, and God will take care of you. Like, it was not good. It was really bad advice, but she believed in her. You know, this woman adopted her and pretended to love her like everybody else did. Yeah, I don't get it. I not that many times, but so anyway, she ended up never speaking to that lady again. But somebody that did stick with her was her best friend Dawn, like, from the neighborhood. She has, like, all of her paintings, because she used to do these really cool, like, things with ink, and you could hold them up to the window and they would show an image. So she would do these really cool, like, paintings and drawings in jail, and she has all of her letters. She actually has her ashes in her garden, or, you know, her flower bed in the front of her house to this day. She really stuck with her. She was her last visit. Her whole time in jail was wasn't good. She was, like, very defiant, as y'all can imagine. I think towards the end, though, she just wanted to die. She did not want to be in prison. She wanted to go. She was so failed. She was never, like, nobody ever loved her. I mean, her mom abandoned her. Then her mom was in the second documentary acting like, oh, I want her to forgive me. No, you feel bad. Like, finally, maybe, because you're getting ready. You're elderly, and she's going to die. And it's just a sad situation. Everybody either used her for sex, money, or whatever they could use her for, and then they would just dump her. It was horrible. Yeah, Remy, thank you. Yeah, I'm going to leave it up. Yeah, she was failed by everybody. I mean, her last words were something like, I'll be back on Independence Day, like, with Jesus, or something. With Jesus. Hold on. I have some of it written down. But, in the big mothership on June 6th with Jesus. I mean, she was not well. She was failed by everybody. She finally died on October 9th, 2002 from lethal injection. She had her last visit with Dawn, her last interview with Nick, and you'll see all that in the documentary. If you watch it, he did a really good job with her, getting information, that I feel like needed to be shared. Her mother felt bad. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it was. Oh, really? Yeah, she was funny. She was hilarious. And listen, everything I've ever watched about her, she was not boring. She was funny. She was spunky. Like, had she been dealt a different hand, I think that she would have been something. Like, I mean, she had to start selling herself at like 15 because her granddad kicked her out. Even before that, because they wouldn't supply her with basic needs. Like, everybody in the world failed this poor lady. Okay, Anna Mary. Yeah, Captain of my soul. I'm going to leave it up. I just went through a quick rundown of the case, but I'm still going to stay live for a little while. I just feel, I don't know. Everybody and their brother failed this poor lady. I don't see how she could have been anything different than she was. I mean, can you imagine, like, your kid's friend and her brother being homeless, and you're like, yeah, little Harry, you can stay, but Helen, you have to go outside and sleep. Like, I cannot imagine that. That is so fucking cruel. Everybody was mean to her. There was nobody that just, like, told her, like, I love you, I'll take care of you. And if they did, it was to fucking use her for something, or because, they wanted something from her. She needed one person, exactly. One person to give a fuck. She would have fit right in, yes. She acts just like us. She was a teenager when her mom shot her dad. Oh my God! Wow, I didn't know that. That's a crazy story. That's crazy how she ended up, playing her. She looked just like her in the movie, though. Like, they did a good job with her. Yes, even the cops used her. They tried to sell her story, and they tried to use her. Like the one cop, he talks about it. All of his notes and shit got taken from his house, and he got threatened to the point that he left that precinct. Like, he left it altogether because they stole his notes and threatened him not to say anything about it. They were going to try to make book deals and shit. Tyra, before court was even over, was trying to make fucking book deals. Like, she didn't even give a fuck about Aileen at all. You know how sad that is? That's horrible. Hell yeah, dude. We would, like, be like, yes. I know, I can't help it either. I feel bad for her. Like, I just can't imagine. I guess now people really aren't as lonely because of the internet. Maybe she would have been better off now if she would have lived now. But I just can't imagine. Like, the one person that she protected totally sold her out, testified against her, tried to make book deals against her, was talking about movie deals and shit before the trial was even over. Like, I just can't. It's horrible. Oh, rumors will start. Oh, fuck them. You know how that goes. I don't know. Maybe it's the mom in me, but like, I don't, I don't know if I was like, if I had my kids had a friend, because I do have older kids that are like 10, and if they had a friend, because they're not that much younger than Aileen was, and the brother and the sister were like homeless, I would help them. Like, that'd be my first instinct. Like, okay, we're crowded as fuck, that's what I'd be thinking. Like, oh shit, I would make it work. Like, I would never be like, well, you have a bad reputation, so you can't stay, but you can, honey. What the fuck? Yeah, help is easier to find now. Yes, I love Nick. I thought he did a great job. Nick Broomfield did a wonderful job. Like, he he was very pro Aileen though. Like, he saw that she was a little off, but he also saw that they did fuck her. Like, they did not give her a good deal at all. It's really sad. Hold on a second. Sorry. I have to take this message real quick. Hold on. Okay, sorry. Okay. I think she was 43, right? Was she 43 or 47 when she died? Does anybody know? Okay, she was 46. I knew that she was right around there. I was getting ready to look it up. Women homeless. And I know, like, all she had to protect her cat was, um, all she had to protect her was, like, when they showed what she lived in, because this guy had a picture of it, the gay guy that she, like, they shared this little shack that they made was like old plywood and sticks. And Aileen, they said sometimes people would give them blankets from the neighborhood, but then somebody else said no, nobody gave them blankets. Like, they literally they laid in the snow, and they were little kids, like and teenagers. What the fuck? Oh yeah, she looked so much older. She looked like she was like 60. Yes, I'm gonna post I have a whole playlist, Kimberly. I'm gonna post it all under this video. I mean, can you even imagine living? Because I live up north, and I'll tell you, like, sometimes even just walking to your car is bitterly cold. You can't breathe. It takes your breath in the winter. I just can't imagine, like, living outside, especially as a child. Oh, it's horrible. She looked so much older. She had such a hard life. Um, I mean, by the end, she was just done, and you could tell. You could see it all over her. Um, I don't know. I think that was her. That was like peaceful for her, though. For her to die. Like, that was her final piece. She wrote a letter. Like, it's in one of the documentaries I'm going to share with you guys. That it was like she was happy to die. It was like the end for her. There was nothing else for her to do. Nobody was helping her anyways. She didn't eat because she thought they were poisoning her. Nobody really came to visit her before the execution thing started. So why? Only time people would come to visit her is if they wanted to write a story about her or something. Everybody just used her, abused her, and threw her away. So sad. Yeah, I know. Oh no, it gets like in Michigan, it gets like a freaking below 6. I said, I really can't believe it. I know, but it was a different time, and I try to tell myself that. But even as a different time, wouldn't one of the adults around stepped in, like, and said, "We'll help you" or something? I don't know. Maybe I'm just a soft ass. I don't know. I could never do that. I could never ever take one sibling in and not the other. Yes, she had a really sad life. Her eyes were just cold by the end, especially. She was so funny and she had a lot of personality. And at the end, she was just done. That's all there was to it. She was done. But I am going to share this. Her eyes definitely told a story. I'm going to definitely share the playlist under this. And I know some people really had never heard of her. I hope you guys do watch the documentaries. Like, It's if you think you ever had a hard life, you should watch the documentaries before anything, and just watch her decline. The Selling of a Serial Killer is first, and then Life and Death is second. So, yeah, nobody got her help. Nobody did anything. It's just really sad. So, I'm gonna actually probably watch the documentary while I go to bed tonight now. But it's yeah, she got all of her charges were for robbery and for murder. She had like 7 and 7. She had the charges together, but she had already been to jail. When she held up the gas station or whatever, she had already done time for that. So I think maybe in her head too, when she started just accepting all these death sentences, she knew that she was just going to sit and rot in jail. Even if the murder charges had been taken off the table, she was looking at life regardless. I don't know what I would do in that situation, but I can't believe they didn't try to like help her with her mental health, maybe, and she could have been at least productive in prison in some way. I don't know. So, yeah, I'm going to leave this up, and thank you guys all for coming. That's how it started. Yeah, but I don't think I think the first guy really did sexually assault her. Like, I truly believe that. And she was good. Then it went from there. But that's my personal belief. The first guy, I don't know that she was necessarily going to rob him. Like, off the bat, I think that he did assault her. I don't believe all of them did, but the first one I do. Hey, Bodie, I'm going to leave this up. I'm not going to be on much longer. Yeah, if you, sorry, something happens to her. Yes, that's what I think. Like, it was like a tailspin. It was like that guy put her back to what every other guy had done. And she started looking at them like, fuck it, I'm going to do this. Like, I'm done, Yeah, he put bleach in her. Oh, my God. And all of her cuts, too. Oh. My kid. For the streets. Yeah, exactly, Ozzy. This lady had this lady had a hard life her mom just dumped her off with her abusive parents, like, and then when they adopted her, like, everybody said how mean the grandpa was to them, especially her. Just tell them about this lady. Yeah, I agree with you, Ash. She set her off. Richard just set her off into a whole new. Obviously, she had been a prostitute for many, many years. She had never had issues like this. She was, probably good at what she did. Just making a deal. Let's do it. Whatever. I don't know exactly how that goes, but something like, let's make a deal. Let's do it. Whatever. She never had these problems. And him, what he did to her, like, put her into a new place, in my opinion. Oh. But her biological father killed himself after he got convicted of the sexual assault. And then her grandfather was found dead in his garage from killing himself. Like, thanks, Sabrina. She was molested as a baby, sexually assaulted her. Yeah, exactly. Her whole life. Like, fucking. Ugh. Can you... I don't know, like, and then every guy, her dad, yeah, he never did nothing to her, but you find out, like, your dad's a creep, your grandpa was a creep, the fucking neighborhood creep was one touching you, and that's who she said was the father of her child, like, that, the son that she had to give up. Her brother was kind of a creep, but she loved him. Like, her brother, like, let his friends, like, he told them it was going to happen, and they basically set it up so that they could walk in, because the one friend said, yeah, I got to see him, whatever, it definitely happened. Yeah, it's not good business to kill your clients off. Yeah. Oh, yeah, mental illness was heavy in her genes. Yes. She had 2 people that killed themselves. Her father was a pedophile. It said that her grandfather was a pedophile. Her Keith wasn't very stable. Her mom was pretty unstable. Everybody in her life had mental illness. Yeah. She didn't have a chance. No. Yes, definitely, Kimberly. And after you watch this, I'm going to link my Aileen playlist down below it in the description, and you can check out the documentaries. I would start with Selling of a Serial Killer, and then I would watch The Life and Death of a Serial Killer, because that's in order. So. Oh, thank you, Ozzy. Yeah, definitely watch the documentaries that I put down. Also, the A&E documentary that will be in that playlist, like, it has more information than the big long 2-hour documentaries. Like, there's a lot of information in those that I feel like it's not in the bigger ones. You know what I mean? Yeah, she never met her biological father. He was in prison. But every father figure always molested and raped her. When women weren't allowed to speak. Yeah, I know. It's so sad. It's horrible. Like, I don't know. Literally her entire life. I know, exactly, Ash. Exactly. Her mom didn't. Yeah, her mom left. Okay, her mom left them with the man and woman that had abused them their whole life. Like, she knew what her dad was, left them, and never. I understand she was young. She was running from an abusive piece of shit, because she had Aileen after she already left the father, but she knew that her dad was like a pedophile and all that, and left them, and never to come back. Never had a chance. Yeah, she got left with the grandparents that she got left with was the mom's mom and dad. It's all on the A&E like, a lot of that stuff is on the A&E documentary, which is like a lot of her family and friends that were interviewed. I didn't know a lot of that stuff until I watched that, but God, I just can't imagine. Like, I know, when you can't help what happens to you when you're a kid, but abandoning your kids and just never going back and knowing how your parents were to you, knowing your dad's a pedophile, like, you're hearing all these things about how your parents are kicking your kids out, I don't get it. It's horrible. She never had a chance, like, from infancy, never. And nobody I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't think, like, her mom I don't think her mom ever came back. I might be wrong. I need to look into that, but I don't think so. Exactly. Yeah. Well, yeah, my dad's a piece of shit, but he's not that kind of piece of shit, No, because her mom said she wanted her to forgive her, and they said, did you, like, in the second documentary, they said, did you know that these things were going on? And she said that she had heard, and I think it was the Nick Broomfield one, he said, you didn't think to go back and check, and she wouldn't answer him, so I guess not. Yeah, Kimberly, it is a very sad story. Yeah, I'm gonna look into that too. That's like, she watched her mom kill her dad, and like, then she ended up playing that part. That's really like, I don't know. I'm glad she was able to turn her life around, because some people can, but she must. I just feel bad for Aileen, because she didn't have anybody to help her. So that's why, like, when everybody was saying, "Why, you have a favorite serial killer?" I'm like, yes, I do. Like, I've always had a soft spot for her, and I watched, like, way too much stuff on her. Hey, Shell. I'm getting ready to close down, but I am going to leave the playlist for you guys. And thank you guys all for coming. Make sure, if you guys, like, want to watch more, the A&E one's only 40 minutes long. The Nick Broomfield ones are a little bit longer, but I promise they're worth it. And there's different stuff in each of them. I had to turn to drama. Listen, I'm a drama queen, okay? Love drama. I had to put nope. But I don't say that person's name. I really don't, and that's too much over there. Blaze, I don't know. I don't know. Well, maybe there's probably different things out about it. I don't know, but her dad went to jail. Her dad went to jail for child molestation, and the mom just left him. So, but thank you guys. Love you guys. I'll leave the playlist down. That could be what happened. I mean, how documentaries are. They spend stuff. So whatever. I don't know. I know I heard that Truth Seeker Knows went off on Ash and Marianne, and I haven't even got to watch that yet. And I'm like, I don't even know. But thanks, guys. And Blaze, I'm gonna try to read and see if I can find stuff about that. That could very well. I mean, stuff can be spun all the time, right? Okay, give me about 10 minutes to update my description for you guys. Okay. Thanks, guys. Bye.